Hello, everyone, and welcome back to EP Learning English, the podcast where we help you improve your English skills step by step. I'm Jason, and joining me today is my wonderful co-host, Julia.
Hi, Jason. Hello to all our amazing listeners. I hope you're ready for another exciting episode because today we have a really important topic: how to speak without hesitation, English fluency tips.
That's right, Julia. Speaking English without long pauses or, moments is a big challenge for many learners. In this episode, we're going to explore why hesitation happens, and more importantly, how you can reduce it so your speech sounds smooth, natural, and confident.
Exactly. By the end of this episode, you'll have practical techniques you can use every day to think faster, speak more fluently, and sound more confident in English. So, stay with us. This one's going to be full of powerful tips.
Before we learn how to fix hesitation, we first need to understand why it happens. Julia, what do you think are the most common reasons people hesitate when speaking English?
Well, Jason, there are quite a few. The first and probably the biggest reason is lack of confidence. When learners are not sure about their English skills, they often pause too much because they're afraid of making mistakes.
Yes, that's a big one. And when you lack confidence, your brain works in double-check mode. Instead of speaking naturally, you keep questioning yourself. Is this the right word? Is my grammar correct? And by the time you decide, the conversation has already moved on.
Exactly. The second reason is limited vocabulary. If you don't have enough words stored in your mind, you will often stop mid-sentence to search for the right term. That can make your speech sound broken and unnatural.
I've seen that happen a lot. Your brain is like a library. If the book you need isn't there, you waste time searching. That's why vocabulary building is so important if you want to speak without hesitation.
Another reason is translating from your native language while speaking. Many learners form sentences in their first language and then translate them into English. But the sentence structures are different, so this process slows them down and creates long pauses.
That's true. It's like trying to run a race while carrying heavy bags. Translation slows you down. If you want to speak quickly and naturally, you need to think directly in English.
And let's not forget nervousness and pressure. When learners speak to native speakers or in front of a group, they sometimes freeze. Their mind goes blank even though they know the words.
Yes, and that's why building speaking confidence is just as important as learning vocabulary or grammar. If you don't feel relaxed, hesitation will always be there.
So, to summarize, the four biggest causes of hesitation are lack of confidence, limited vocabulary, translating instead of thinking in English, nervousness under pressure.
Right. Now that we know the reasons, it's time to talk about solutions. In the next part, we'll share powerful techniques to help you speak smoothly and without hesitation. All right, Julia, now that we understand why hesitation happens, let's talk about the solutions. What's the first powerful technique for speaking without hesitation?
The first one is thinking directly in English. Many learners don't realize how much time they lose when they translate in their heads. Instead of forming a sentence in your native language and then converting it to English, you should train your brain to process ideas directly in English.
I completely agree. And one simple way to do this is to describe your surroundings in English during the day. For example, if you're walking to the bus stop, you can think, "The sky is blue. I can hear birds. The bus is coming." This helps your brain create an English mode without translation.
Exactly. The second technique is using filler words naturally. Many learners think filler words are bad, but in reality, native speakers use them all the time to keep the conversation flowing. Words like, well, actually, give you a moment to think without awkward silence.
Yes. For example, if someone asks, "What do you think about the movie?" Instead of staying silent, you can say, "Well, I think it was really interesting." Or, "I didn't expect that ending." This keeps your speech moving and makes you sound natural.
The third technique is shadowing. This is one of my favorites. You listen to a native speaker, maybe in a podcast, YouTube video, or audiobook, and then immediately repeat what they say, imitating their tone and speed.
That's such a powerful method. It forces you to speak without stopping because you're matching the rhythm of the original speaker. Over time, your brain gets used to producing English without hesitation.
The fourth technique is not aiming for perfection. Many learners stop mid-sentence because they're afraid of making a mistake. But in real life, the goal is communication, not perfect grammar.
Exactly. If you forget a word, describe it instead. For example, if you forget the word fridge, you can say, "the machine that keeps food cold." This keeps the conversation going and shows creativity in communication.
So, to summarize the four main techniques, think directly in English, use filler words naturally, practice shadowing with native speakers, focus on communication, not perfection.
These techniques, if practiced regularly, will already reduce hesitation a lot. But there's another important part: training your brain to respond faster in conversations. And that's what we'll talk about next. All right, Julia. So we've covered techniques to avoid hesitation. But there's another level: training the brain to think and respond faster in English. This is like upgrading your mental speed. What's the first step?
The first step is building a strong vocabulary base, but not just random words. You need ready-made phrases and sentence patterns that you can use instantly. For example, instead of only knowing the word opinion, you should know the whole phrase. In my opinion. That way, when you want to share a thought, the phrase comes out automatically without thinking.
Exactly. And you can do this by creating a list of common sentence starters. I think, I believe that, in my experience, it seems to me. Practice them daily until they become second nature.
The second step is active listening. This means listening to English not just for fun, but with focus. Pay attention to sentence structure, word choice, and pronunciation. And here's a tip: try to guess what the speaker will say next before they say it. This prediction training forces your brain to think ahead.
That's a great exercise. For example, when listening to a podcast, pause after a sentence and try to continue the idea yourself. Then play it to see if you were close. Over time, you'll notice your responses in real conversations become much faster.
The third method is conversation anticipation. This is especially useful in everyday situations. For example, if you're going to a restaurant, think of the questions the waiter might ask. Would you like something to drink? Or how would you like your steak? And prepare your answers in advance.
Yes. That way, when the moment comes, you don't freeze. Your brain already has the answer ready, and it comes out smoothly.
And finally, the fourth method is imitation of native speakers. Choose someone you enjoy listening to, maybe an actor, YouTuber, or podcast host, and try to copy their rhythm, tone, and expressions.
This is powerful because it's not just about learning words. You're also training your brain to match the natural speed and flow of English conversation.
So to recap, the 4 ways to train your brain for faster responses are: learn phrases and sentence patterns, not just single words. Practice active listening with prediction. Prepare answers in advance for common situations. Imitate native speakers to match speed and rhythm.
Once you combine these with the techniques we talked about earlier, your hesitation will start disappearing much faster than you expect. All right, Julia, we've talked about techniques and brain training. Now it's time to get practical. Our listeners need exercises they can do every single day to reduce hesitation and speak more fluently.
Yes, and the great thing is that these exercises don't need special equipment. You can do them anywhere. The first one is the 1-minute speaking challenge. You choose a topic. It could be my morning routine, a movie I enjoyed, or my favorite food. Then you set a timer for 1 minute and talk nonstop about it.
That's important. Non-stop. Even if you make mistakes or don't know a word, keep going. If you forget a word, describe it in another way. For example, if you can't remember umbrella, say the thing you use when it rains.
Exactly. And if 1 minute feels too hard at first, start with 30 seconds and build up gradually. The goal is to train your brain to keep speaking without freezing.
The second exercise is story retelling. Listen to a short story, a podcast clip, or a scene from a TV show, and then try to retell it in your own words.
Yes, this is powerful because it forces you to remember key points, structure your sentences, and think quickly in English, and you can make it more challenging by adding details or changing the ending of the story.
The third exercise is something I like to call speed conversation practice. Set a timer for 2 minutes and have a fast conversation with a friend or speaking partner. The rule is no long pauses. If you can't think of a word, replace it with a simpler one and keep going.
And if you don't have a speaking partner, you can use a speech-to-text app. Just speak into your phone and see how much it understands. If the app gets most of your words correct, it means your pronunciation and fluency are improving.
I like that because it also gives instant feedback. You can spot words that the app didn't catch and practice saying them more clearly.
So, to recap, the 4 best exercises are 1-minute speaking challenge, story retelling, speed conversation practice, using speech-to-text apps for feedback.
If our listeners make these exercises part of their daily routine, I'm sure they'll notice a huge difference in their confidence and speed when speaking English. Julia, I think one of the biggest reasons people hesitate when speaking English isn't just vocabulary or grammar. It's their mindset.
I completely agree. Many learners feel nervous, afraid, or even embarrassed when speaking, and that fear leads to more pauses and hesitation.
Yes. The first mindset shift is accept that mistakes are a natural part of learning. Even native speakers make mistakes, forget words, or correct themselves in mid-sentence.
Exactly. Instead of thinking, what if I make a mistake? Think, every mistake is a lesson. If you keep going, you'll improve much faster. But if you freeze every time you're unsure, your fluency will never grow.
The second mindset shift is focus on communication, not perfection. The goal of speaking is to share ideas and connect with people, not to sound like a grammar book.
Right. If the person you're talking to understands you, you've succeeded. And here's the secret. Most people won't notice small grammar errors if you speak confidently.
That brings us to the third mindset shift. Speak with confidence and energy. Even if you're not 100% sure about a word, say it clearly and keep going.
Yes. Your body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice all send a message. If you smile, make eye contact, and speak with enthusiasm, people will focus on your message, not your small mistakes.
And here's something important. Don't compare yourself to others. Everyone learns at a different pace. The only person you should compare yourself to is the you from yesterday.
I love that. Progress is personal. Celebrate your small wins, like speaking for 30 seconds without hesitation, or using a new phrase in a conversation.
So, to summarize our 3 big mindset shifts, accept that mistakes are part of learning. Focus on communication, not perfection. Speak with confidence and energy.
If our listeners apply these mindset shifts along with the techniques and exercises we've shared today, they'll not only speak faster, they'll enjoy speaking more.
Wow, Julia, we've covered a lot in today's episode. From understanding why people hesitate, to learning practical techniques, brain training exercises, and mindset shifts. It's a full fluency toolkit.
Yes, and the beauty of these tips is that they work for learners at every level. Whether you're a beginner who just started speaking or an intermediate learner trying to sound more natural, these strategies can help you.
Let's do a quick recap for our listeners. First, we talked about the main reasons people hesitate: lack of confidence, small vocabulary gaps, overthinking and translating, and nervousness under pressure.
Then we shared techniques to reduce pauses, like thinking in English instead of translating, using filler words to keep the flow, practicing shadowing with native speakers, and not aiming for perfection.
After that, we discussed how to train your brain for faster speech by learning phrases instead of single words, listening actively, predicting what comes next in a conversation, and imitating native speakers.
And of course, we also shared practical exercises, like the 1-minute speaking challenge, story retelling, speed conversations, and using speech-to-text apps for feedback.
Finally, we ended with mindset shifts, accepting mistakes, focusing on communication, and speaking with confidence and energy.
So here's our challenge for you, dear listeners from EP Learning English. Choose just one technique or exercise from today's episode and practice it every day for the next 7 days.
Yes, don't try to do everything at once. Focus on one thing, master it, and then add the next. Step-by-step improvement is the key to real fluency.
And remember, the more you speak, the easier it becomes. Don't wait for the perfect moment to start. The perfect moment is now.
We'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment and tell us, what's your biggest challenge when speaking English? And which tip will you try first?
And don't forget to subscribe to EP Learning English for more episodes like this, where we help you speak naturally, confidently, and fluently.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, keep smiling, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Visit speakdom.com now. Start your English journey, learn smarter, and grab free PDFs to practice anytime, anywhere.